Now, love is indeed needed for a successful relationship, but what's more important is communication. And while most couples discuss almost everything under the sun, many are not open to each other about their financial decisions. Now, couples, whether newly married or have been in relationship for long, can further strengthen their relationship if they bring in transparency when it comes to financial transactions and their overall financial health. To understand how couples can kickstart a conversation on their financials, we have Harshvardhan Roongta of Roongta Securities and Dr. Soumiya Mudgal, Max Hospital, joining us now. Welcome and good evening to this very important discussion that we are having now. Soumiya, let me start with you, because what happens is we're talking about relationship with money, your individual relationship with money, and then later on, how do you discuss about that relationship and that standpoint with your partner, with your spouse, or could be anyone you're in a relationship with. Do you think people come up with these kind of problems with you? How important do you think it is for an individual or for a couple to talk openly about their finances and their financial health before getting married or before getting into a long-term relationship with each other?
Hi everyone. So yes, it is very important. I think besides many other things, financial stability is another important goal which is needed for love or love marriages or marriages. Yes, there is a lot of hesitancy among people. You always see a lot of hesitancy among people to discuss their financial goals or their financial status or their financial positioning at the time of relationship beginning. But eventually, yes, when you're sure about the relationship, these conversations should happen. Yes, we do get patients and people complaining or are not happy about, because either one of the spouse has not ever discussed the financial situation, and there has been spooky kind of expenses being happening which the other spouse doesn't understand, or the one spouse always complains of less of money. So this creates a lot of turmoil in the relationship, and it is usually a psychological turmoil in the initial part of it, because people again shy away asking it because they think that would disturb the harmony of the family. Whereas it is important to start that conversation because in the initial part of the relationship, only because it helps you to define your what kind of long term financial goals are you going to have, and what kind of a financial security are you looking towards. And this should happen in all the situation, irrespective both the spouses are working or one of the spouses is working, or one of the either spouses is earning more or less. So yes, a level of transparency is important. That transparency, though, certainly I would like to say, doesn't mean that you're bound to contribute or you're bound to pitch in immediately and you need to give away the control of your own money. But yeah, we need to be clear about each other's financial positioning. Also, because in life you have some certain you never know which direction the relationship is going. You never know. There can be some emergency in the relationship and life. So transparency also gives you a better control over the situation if you know
Sure.
where you stand.
Very important, very important. Well, all right, so let's get in Harsh also. Harsh, you've been planning people's life financially for a very long period of time now. I want you to tell us what are the impacts of not disclosing or not discussing your financial life or your financial health with your partner. How would it actually backfire if you are not prepared for it?
Well, Kavita, this topic that you're talking about is a very important subject matter for a simple reason. I mean, we've seen the Indian society by and large is in such a format where generally women are the homemakers. I'm talking about the general phenomena. And, if a woman being a homemaker, tries to by herself involve herself in the family financial discussions, sometimes it's not looked upon favorably. In some cases, we've seen women are generally indifferent to the whole thing, saying that my husband or my father or my in-laws are taking care of finances, so I don't want to involve myself at all. So there could be a situation where a woman herself is not involving, or even if she wants to involve, it is not looked upon favorably. However, I think through this medium, through this conversation, awareness needs to be created that it is not the reason that somebody is trying to find out more about the finances of the family or something. It's not in a negative manner. As you rightly pointed out, if a couple is not aware of what all the financial for what individual finances are, there are so many problems when it comes to effective use of that money, especially if there is a demise in the family. So if one of the partners passes away, the surviving member actually does not have a clue of what investments have been done, what are the insurances that you have, what are the assets, the fixed assets that you may have, how to go about claiming the money, how to go about transferring that money to yourself, and how to use that money effectively for the welfare of the general family. So I think that taboo needs to go around this conversation. There has to be encouragement from the elders of the family, if I may say so, wherein you encourage this kind of an open conversation between the couple and just to discuss things openly. This also helps in planning your expenses effectively, because at one point in time you will see that one member of the family is not aware of the exact financial situation and probably could be spending thinking everything is fine, wherein the other member of the family is knowing the real situation, feels that it is a kind of a situation which is not so comfortable and we need to curtail expenses. So these kind of non-financial implications are also there in between couples. So most certainly, there has to be conversation around it. You need to know how and where your investments, your assets, or your insurances are, so that this entire exercise of financial planning process is completed as in a 360-degree manner, not in a haphazard manner.
Soumya, here are two extreme cases that I want you to explain to us. First case being traditionally, we've seen that the husband has been the earner, and usually whatever is earned is distributed in the family, but not shared with the wife, which is very important. So we have had a lot of viewers asking us or telling us that, our so-and-so passed away and we don't know about their investments, and now we are left with nothing because we know that there is a corpus that can be used after him, but then we have no idea about it. So this is one scenario. Second scenario is among the working couples. What happens over here is money becomes an ego issue. Money, asking about it, where you're investing, where you're spending, it becomes an issue of being judged. It becomes an issue of invading my privacy. So explain to us the psyche behind these two extreme situations.
So, as said, in the first situation, it is usually one is the boss who's getting
Sure.
all the finances and the food on the table. So the entire control stays with the person, and for a long time, it has been considered in a way, that ladies don't understand finance well, and so there's no need to tell them, and we are anyways taking care of it. So why do you have to know? So that kind of a male dominated psyche goes around, or what they have seen in their household, running from generations, and that is how they run it. But that's not the case scenario anymore. I mean, we have so many saving methods and insurances, as mentioned before, that which were there before, but not that exactly. So the question here again comes is that the people are again ego somehow comes in the first situation as well. That I am the boss, I can take care of it, and unfortunately, the ladies stick to the other mundane things of the life and running the household, so they don't get involved and they don't ask for it. Also, a lot of time they don't ask for it, as I mentioned before, because of the fear of being rebuked or being judged for it. So yes, those situations happen, and usually in such situation when we see people are as the person mentioned, that either there is a demise in the family, or all of a sudden the couple is separating and the wife doesn't know about any finances, or one of the spouses is severely ill, or there's some emergency in the family, and we don't know that how the finances are to be run, and sometimes there are no savings at all. I mean,
Right.
it's not that every time there's going to be savings and there's going to be a one insurance and LIC and whatever. Sometimes there's nothing, and the female is not aware, and this is one female who has not gone out and earned. She's been running the household believing that there is something being saved. So this is one extreme scenario. And again, yes, the ego also takes part in this. And the patriarchal system of I'm the
Totally.
boss, I take the care of the things. Whereas in the second part of it, there's a bit of a thing with regard to the financial independence when with regard to the females which are who have got in the eventual years, last few
Right.
decades,
Right.
I should say. But still, a part of it, as being a female myself, I would tell you, and from friends to patients, I mean, people are still not comfortable. Ladies are still not comfortable discussing their finances with their husbands.
That's exactly
And
what's need to change. And Harsh, so how do we kickstart? How do we sit down and talk about our finances? What should we start with first with? With our savings, our investment, our spendings?
In fact, Kavita, we suggest a structured program. So, we just
Okay.
put it in a format and we call it an IPL for the new woman. Okay, so this is just an
Interesting.
acronym that we've given to this entire exercise, which we encourage all couples to undertake, all family households.
Just one
So,
clarification, Harsh. It's called IPL for women. So there's nothing for guys over here?
so it's the IPL for the new woman, in fact. I mean, so I've got an N also in
But
between.
this involves
That's a very
sharing.
important.
But this involves sharing both the couples' finances, right? Financial life and their
Yes,
details.
yes, yes. In
Okay, so
fact,
why have
yes.
you made
But
it
we
so
just
women centric and women oriented?
So as I said, the Indian societal formation is such that, generally speaking, we'll have women being the homemakers
Okay.
and kept out of the purview of all the finances in the house. So this is an exercise which we are trying to encourage and tell women to just get a hang of what's happening. And this is for all the family members in the household to actually start putting across all the finances that you have in a structured manner so that it's easily referable. So what I mean by the IPL for the new woman that I'm talking about, so where I stands for all the investments. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is, on a simple Excel sheet or on a piece of paper, just note down all the investments that you have, note down the account numbers, the folio numbers if you are mutual funds, the insurances, I mean, all that PAN numbers, the Aadhaars. In fact, we also go ahead and say that you create a common email ID, such as like Kavita, if you were to create a common family email ID, you would say investments.thaplia@gmail.com. It could just be a common email ID where all your OTPs and all come. Because see, in case of demise of one person and you have to access those statements, the OTPs will go to the email ID and the mobile number. So why don't you just create one common family email ID for all your investments so that it is easily accessible by all family members. So this is the investments part. Just get all your assets, investments, everything put down in a place with your folio number so that at least it's easily accessible for the surviving member. This is what I'm talking about. The situation if the earning member is not, is it passes away. The second, the P that I'm talking about of the IPL is protection. So you need to ensure that you have all the insurances that have been bought by your family members. You are aware what those insurance policies are. Where are they stored? So if they're in an electronic form, I mean, you need to know they are in that email ID and you have access to that email ID, or you have those files where insurance policies have been bought. Now, in case of demise of the policyholder or the insured, that's exactly the reason you bought, because your surviving member should get the benefits of that insurance policy. So they need to be aware of that insurance. So we have so many people that have bought term insurances, have bought all different kind of insurances, and their nominees are not even aware. The beneficiaries are not even aware that there is a policy. So how does that person go and claim? If because that's eventually the purpose of the insurance. So you need to make sure that you have the protection element already recorded, all insurance numbers, policy numbers, etc., handed over to your beneficiary to know that this is where you go and claim insurance.
And
The
what is
L would
the
be
L,
life.
N, and W all about now?
Yes. So the L is about liability. So in
Okay.
today's times, we have people with home loans, with different kind of loans. So you just need to make sure all the liabilities that you have, you're aware what are the EMI contributions, and in case the earning member of the family is not around, is there a provision to pay those EMIs? Because you need to make sure the earning member not being there, who's going to pay the EMI. So you need to make sure as a surviving member, as a woman of the house, you don't want to only lose your loved ones, you want to also ensure that your house is not taken away at the same time. So, there's a double whammy that you've lost your loved ones and your house together. It can be very, very traumatic situation. So that is the liabilities part that you need to be ensuring that it's well taken care of and EMI burdens don't come upon you. The end part is the nomination. Well, there are several cases that people have nominated somebody in their bank accounts, in their insurances, in their PPF accounts, etc., or even in their real estate, in their housing society, of your property could have a nomination, and then nominees passed away, or you need to change your nomination. So please update all your nominations.
And
And
W, I
the
guess, is for will, which is again very important. So it's a very nice
yes,
idea that you've got this concept of IPL for women. But then I would also like to say this can be an IPL for men, because it's a common type of investment planning we're talking about. So it's good that you thought of women to have it in place. But then yeah, let's share these responsibilities and also share your financial decisions and your financial life and your financial health. Thank you so much, both of you, for being on show and discussing this important topic with our viewers.